Italian journalist and transfer expert Fabrizio Romano has stated that Tottenham believe that they behaved in the right way to sign Morgan Gibbs-White. Football.London has stated that Forest could be powerless in this situation, and Morgan Gibbs-White was not part of Forest's matchday squad for their friendly at Chesterfield on Saturday. But Fabrizio Romano says that Tottenham do remain hopeful and confident this deal will get over the line. Juventus want to sign Bissouma, but they want to pay no more than £13 million, according to reports. Bissouma wants to stay at Tottenham, at least in the Premier League for the new season. And the Boot Room have just reported that Tottenham are now interested in Juventus star Douglas Luiz. Hi everyone, hope you're well. Chris Cowlin here. This is another episode of Tottenham News where I'll be going through all of the latest Spurs news, rumours and reports. If you're watching on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. And if you do have a spare minute, please do vote for us at the Football Content Awards 2025. All of the details are below. So let's start by talking about Nottingham Forest and England star Morgan Gibbs-White, of course, Tottenham Hotspur target. Now, there is no further updates on his situation, but what I can say is that on Saturday, Nottingham Forest did play a pre-season friendly away at Chesterfield. They drew 0-0, and the Tottenham Hotspur transfer target, Gibbs-White, was not part of Forest's matchday squad. So next up, let's talk about Tottenham Hotspur youngster Damola Ajayi, currently on loan at Doncaster Rovers. On Saturday, he started for Doncaster in a friendly against Stamford, beating them 5-0 in a friendly. He has now played 2 games. He has scored in both games, so it's 2-2. Doncaster Free Press said after their 5-0 win today, the Spurs winger dazzled with plenty of encouraging link-up play, and he completed the full 90 minutes of the friendly. Now, there have been a lot of rumours and reports published about Tottenham Hotspur midfielder Yves Bissouma leaving the club this summer. Reports in Belgium are stating that Bissouma has expressed his wish to stay at Tottenham Hotspur for the start of the 2025-2026 season, will at least stay in the Premier League. Various reports around Europe are stating it is believed that Yves Bissouma has held talks with Jose Mourinho's Fenerbahce about a possible move to Turkey, but reports in Italy are stating that Juventus were also interested in the Mali international, but did not want to spend more than £13 million on him. Now, the Boot Room have just stated that Tottenham Hotspur are eyeing up a move for Juventus star Douglas Luiz, of course, former Premier League star with Aston Villa, as Spurs want to sign a new central midfielder this summer for new boss Thomas Frank. Douglas Luiz is anxious to return to England and has struggled for game time at Juventus in Italy, and Everton, Fulham, Nottingham Forest and West Ham are all interested in the Brazilian international. Now, a Tottenham news update wouldn't be complete without a couple of quotes from Italian journalist and transfer expert Fabrizio Romano. He has stated no talks or negotiations for centre-back Cristian Romero between Tottenham and Atletico Madrid. He is expected to stay at Spurs for the start of the new season. He has also stated, or also spoken about Morgan Gibbs-White. He has stated that Tottenham are convinced they behaved in the right way, and the club are hopeful and are confident that the deal will get done and over the line, but Nottingham Forest are prepared to fight Tottenham. Football.London have pretty much said the same, and they have also added there is a feeling that Nottingham Forest could be powerless to stop the transfer. Now, Fabrizio Romano has provided an update on the Morgan Gibbs-White situation. He has stated that Nottingham Forest have started working on legal action against Tottenham for Morgan Gibbs-White. They believe that the way that they used to proceed with the release clause was not the correct way, that they were not authorised to speak to the player. They were not happy at all at Nottingham Forest. They spoke to the Premier League about that. Now the Premier League will investigate into the story. But Tottenham maintain their position. They are convinced about their behaviour. They want to proceed with the deal. They want to sign the player. Nottingham Forest are prepared to fight. So let's wait to see what is going to happen there. But for sure, the Gibbs-White deal now has an issue to be solved between the two clubs. That's going to be one to watch in the coming days and hours, with Tottenham still hopeful and confident to get the player. Now, my thoughts on all these stories in this episode. Now, let's start by talking about the Morgan Gibbs-White situation. Now, Fabrizio Romano has stated that Tottenham believe that they behaved in the right way to get this Morgan Gibbs-White deal done. Of course, Forest are not happy the fact that Spurs knew the exact amount of the release clause, and it wasn't going to be £60 million. It was probably £60 million and £7, or, you know, a ridiculous fee. £60 million, £124,627.43. And Tottenham Hotspur went in there with the exact amount. That is what that they have the query of, because they don't like that confidentiality has been broken here somewhere along the line, whether it's the player, whether it's agents, whether it's somebody else. But Tottenham Hotspur went in with that exact fee as reported by Sky Sports. But come on, let's move on. Tottenham Hotspur want to pay this release clause for Morgan Gibbs-White. The player wants to join Spurs. Nottingham Forest could move on, you know, reinvest into other players, and let's everyone move on. Spurs are in the Champions League at the moment. Nottingham Forest are in the Europa League, you know, because of the Crystal Palace situation. You know, let's just move on and let's sign the player. And let's not prolong this agony, because I tell you what, Tottenham Hotspur are going places. Spurs are spending money in this transfer window, which is great to see. It's putting smiles on all of our faces. And, you know, Nottingham Forest, I know they've sold Elanga, which they're probably not very happy about. And they are just about to sell their captain, Morgan Gibbs-White, to Spurs. But, you know, everyone needs to move on from this. The player wants a new challenge. The player wants to play in the Champions League. The player wants to play at the highest level at Tottenham. And, you know, I just feel like this is just going to prolong the agony, and it will happen eventually. But it's just a little bit annoying at the moment because, you know, Gibbs-White could be in a Spurs shirt right now at Hotspur Way working with Thomas Frank, and it is just prolonging it. So, but I think it's going to be great when it happens, and I do believe that it will happen, but I just think it's going to just take a little bit of time, which is quite annoying. And I think a lot of people, you know, you don't need to be a Spurs fan to feel a little bit annoyed and a little bit aggrieved at Nottingham Forest's actions in this at the moment, because, you know, the player has a release clause. Spurs want to pay the release clause. Just let's move on with it. Come on, let's move on with it. Juventus want to sign Bissouma, but they don't want to pay more than £13 million. I believe that Bissouma is worth a lot more than £13 million, if I'm completely honest. I know he's had talks also with Fenerbahce, but he now has come out and said that he wants to stay at Spurs, or indeed the Premier League. So if a Premier League team does come in for him, that's going to be an interesting one, but he is certainly worth a lot more than £13 million. The boot room are stating that Spurs are interested in Douglas Luiz. I think he would be a great addition for Tottenham. And, you know, if you watch this channel on a regular basis or listen to the audio platforms on a regular basis, that you will know that I love the fact that Spurs are signing Premier League experienced players. You know, good, young, up-and-coming players, but with good Premier League experience. It is a real good mix. And, you know, these are the exact types of players that Spurs should be targeting. And I've been very pleased with our transfer window so far, and exactly what, you know, types of players that Spurs are targeting. So let this continue. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. And remember, if you do have a spare minute, please do vote for us at the Football Content Awards 2025. Thank you so much for all of your incredible support. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll see you on the next one. Stay safe and well. Come on, you Spurs.